Alright guys, so Noah Samsens has released a video. Ethan Klein, lawsuit update, dismissed. Not all is as it may seem, if you haven't looked into this yet, guys. Ethan Klein has not lost the lawsuit. Ethan Klein has chosen to drop it. Now, at this point, I'm just going to be straight up. Yeah, I could do a whole thing where I'm like, well guys, let's try and evaluate why Ethan's dropped it. At this point, my charity has run out. I do not assume any altruistic, or even the possibility, to be honest, of any altruistic, principled, or sort of like reflective decision-making in dropping this lawsuit. I can only really see it being in response to public pressure, because people like Critical started flipping on it, and he had that big loss to Denims, and he saw what the reaction was like, and he didn't want to have another one like that. That's my sense. Anyway, Adari refiles updated claims. I believe he's dropped it with prejudice, Silo. I don't think he can refile this one, but we'll take a look.
Hey everybody, I've got a big lawsuit update for you. It's over. Ethan Klein has dropped his defamation lawsuit against me. He filed a motion to dismiss the case with prejudice, meaning that he cannot sue me for the claims in this lawsuit ever again. It's over. We won. I mean, kind of. We didn't really win anything. In fact, I actually lost like a bunch of time and money and peace of mind and all that. But I am no longer being sued, so I guess we'll take it. This lawsuit and the legal threats leading up to it have been a massive year-long headache. I'm super glad that it's over. I can get back to just focusing on videos. And we also get to donate the money we raised for my legal defense, which after subtracting the fees should still be about $100,000. Unfortunately, right now, GoFundMe is holding the funds for review. We've given them all the information they need and we haven't heard back. It's been super frustrating. Hopefully it gets cleared up soon. And once it does, I'll be posting an update on community posts or maybe a video. In the meantime, consider donating to Project Sarsour, which is where the money will go. It's my friend Ahmed's project. He lives in Gaza and the money will go to help families there and a number of other projects. Anyways, so the first question you might have here is, what happened? Why did Ethan drop the lawsuit? And right now, I don't have a firm answer for that. Ethan hasn't commented publicly and did not respond to my requests for comment. But now that it's been dropped with prejudice and with no confidentiality clauses, I'm able to talk openly about everything that happened. And I think by the end of the video, we should have a little bit more of an idea as to how this all played out the way that it did. So first, a brief recap. In March of last year, I released this video, The YouTubers Who Backed a Genocide. It was a response to a video from Ethan Klein called Content Nuke Hassan Piker. In that video, I highlighted a bunch of—
Dude, look, he's faked a Nazi salute. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe what he did.
Response to a video from Ethan Klein called Content Nuke Hassan Piker. In that video, I highlighted a bunch of statements from several prominent content creators and used those statements to demonstrate the way that the Western media apparatus has helped to normalize Israel's genocide in Gaza. Things like atrocity propaganda, misinformation about groups resisting Israel, and Zionist historical narratives. Ethan Klein responded to the video by immediately threatening to sue me for defamation. He issued a cease and desist and demanded that I take the video down and apologize, or else he would sue me. He dedicated a few episodes of his podcast to issuing these sorts of threats.
All he has to do to avoid getting sued is apologize for everything he said and did. He started his second video by saying, Ethan's threatened to sue me. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you. Noah said in his second video, Ethan's threatening to sue me. Have fun with that, I guess. He said, well, I'm about to have fun with it. And unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be having much fun with it.
But I kept the video up. After speaking with several lawyers, I felt pretty confident that I'd be able to defend against a defamation suit. And I also believe that the cease and desist was just a scare tactic, as they're commonly used, to get me to—
It's just crazy. Like, the idea that video would have been defamatory. It's like totally protected speech. I just don't think there's an argument there at all.
Criticism from the internet. The deadline passed and I didn't hear anything from Ethan and it seemed like everything was good. But then a year later, 2 days before the statute of limitations was up, Ethan actually filed the lawsuit. He alleged that I defamed him with 6 statements, including the title and thumbnail of my video and various other claims that I made. He was seeking unlimited damages and a jury trial. When you get served a defamation lawsuit, you have 30 days to respond or face default. So I spent the majority of my time the next few weeks looking everywhere to find a lawyer. Just to file a reply, I was being quoted upwards of $100,000, which is obviously pretty stressful because I don't have that kind of money on hand. So I ended up doing a fundraiser, and I fundraised as much as I could. We got not quite to the goal, but over $100,000, which I thought was pretty good. But as the deadline approached and I started to get even more stressed out, I still hadn't found a lawyer. That's when I got in touch with Deborah Drews. Deborah Drews is an LA-based attorney who specializes in defamation law, and honestly, I owe her my life. She's an incredible lawyer, and from our first conversation, she showed genuine interest in this case. She was also willing to work at a major discount, which is what made it possible to donate most of this money that we raised. So anyways, I retained Deborah's counsel, of course, and we began working on our response. Our approach was going to be to file an anti-SLAPP motion. The SLAPP in anti-SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation, and the statute was designed to prevent powerful people from weaponizing their resources to silence dissent from critics that cannot sustain a long-term legal battle.
Well, that sounds like a perfect situation to apply this in. I'm sure nobody would disagree with that read anymore.
Anti-SLAPP motion can dismiss frivolous lawsuits before they even go to trial and force the plaintiff, in this case it would be Ethan, to pay the defendant's legal fees. As our work on the case progressed, we started to feel like we'd put together a pretty strong case. But then, just a few days before the filing deadline, Ethan Klein reached out to us looking to open up settlement talks. Now at first, I was taken aback. Ethan sued me, made me pay a bunch of money, stressed out me and my family, and now he's coming to me to settle? No, we're not doing that. That's not happening, especially given how strong we felt our defense was. But Deborah, in her infinite wisdom and expertise, suggested that we didn't know what their terms would be. Maybe they really wanted out of the lawsuit, and maybe their offer would reflect this, and it could be good for us. A settlement would end proceedings immediately, it would eliminate all risk, and it would free up the money that we'd raised to be donated right away. Depending on the specifics, that could be a pretty good deal. So we agreed to file an extension to start settlement talks, but nothing could have prepared me for what they came up with. In exchange for dropping his lawsuit, Ethan Klein...
Oh no, oh god, okay, this is heat, this is heat, this is heat, this is heat. So what was Ethan demanding? Because I'm sure this is going to be spanned by some people as Ethan reflected and decided this was the wrong thing to do. What was Ethan actually asking for in this insane lawsuit that he was never going to win?
Wanted a public apology on my primary YouTube channel and Twitter account, pre-approved by Ethan, which would need to include a claim that he and his wife Hila have both supported the Palestinian cause. He also wanted me to remove 6 separate videos from my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's all the videos I've ever talked about him in, which includes several videos that are unrelated to the claims made in the actual lawsuit. He also wanted a non-disparagement clause, which would bar me from ever publicly criticizing Ethan again. They did
I seem to remember that being a red line for one Nikki D. I seem to remember one Nikki D referring to a non-disparagement agreement as a red line. Yeah, it seems to be what Ethan's going around seeking.
To reimburse my legal fees to be donated to a mutually agreed upon charity. So that's great, but only if my public apology included an acknowledgement that Ethan replenished these funds so that they can go to charity. So these terms were, let's just call them inadequate, hard for us to accept, so we made a counteroffer. No apology, no confidentiality, full reimbursement for all of our legal fees, no deleting any videos outside of the ones which were about the lawsuit, which we felt would become irrelevant if it was settled, and then one public statement which would read as follows. Ethan and I disagree about a video I made in response to his video Content Nuke Hassan Piker. He thinks my video says one thing, and I think it says another. Both of us believe that YouTube is a place for free expression, and recognize the right to criticize each other's views. So we've decided to end our dispute amicably. Keeping it out of court frees up funds to help families in Gaza right now. We sent these terms over and didn't hear back, so we prepared to file our anti-SLAPP motion. It was all ready to go. I was kind of excited. Honestly, Deborah cooked. But then a few days later, Ethan filed the motion to dismiss with prejudice. And that was it. So back to that question of like what happened, why'd he back out? Because he hasn't publicly commented and he didn't respond to my request for comment, we can really only speculate. Maybe he did have a change of heart. Maybe he doesn't want to be the one that hands out lawsuits left and right to silence critics. And maybe if he were to admit this publicly and apologize for wasting my time and money and acting like a freak throughout the whole process, then maybe I'd believe that. But until then, I think there are more likely explanations. See, Ethan has stated publicly that his many lawsuits against smaller creators have damaged his reputation.
I don't want to be the fucking litigious asshole that's suing everybody. Like, I know what I know what people think of me. I know what people say about me. I'm not a moron. I know like the consequences of doing all these lawsuits and stuff.
The biggest backlash so far came very recently when he was criticized by a prominent YouTuber, Charlie of the channel Penguin Zero. He
literally, this is what it all comes down to. It's just because Critical started fucking going after him, man. It's literally so transparent. It's so fucking lame.
Videos got millions of views.
Ethan, of all people, should be very familiar with how defamatory lawsuits can be exploited by those with a lot of money. He was the guy that always fought on the right side of these kind of battles. And now in this case, I really think he's lost his way in that regard.
Ethan also just lost a lawsuit against the streamer Denims. He sued her for copyright infringement, and the ruling on this one was just brutal. The judge ruled against Ethan while citing his own previous case of defending against a frivolous copyright lawsuit. It wasn't until both of these events that Ethan began offering to drop his defamation lawsuits, in exchange for an apology, of course.
If Ian would issue a genuine apology, I'd probably think about dropping the lawsuit. And honestly, the same is true of Noah Samsens.
Ian,
if he just issued like a heartfelt apology, I'd probably consider dropping it.
And there's another part to this that I think is worth discussing, which is how Ethan's reputation has also taken hits due to his support for Israel. According to him, this perception has ruined some of his personal and professional relationships.
From a professional perspective, our entire lives are ruined. Collaborations, partners, business partners, employees, creators, you know, friends.
If you look at the trends in views and subscribers, there's been a demonstrable drop since October of 2023. Former fans of H3 are leaving and have spoken about the sort of rampant Zionism in that community. Apparently, even just wearing their merch now has an explicit association with the state of Israel. At one point, Ethan may have thought that suing me for criticizing his statements about Israel could change this public perception.
I'd love to see you reason out in a court document about how I and Mudahar support genocide. I really look forward to that.
But somewhere along the line, he must have realized that this strategy wouldn't work. When he got the chance to prove me wrong in front of a judge, just like he wanted, he folded. He backed out at the last minute. So here we are. So anyways, super glad this is all over, ready to get back to making regular videos. I'll update everyone with a post as soon as I can about the GoFundMe situation once that's cleared up. I appreciate everyone who has supported me throughout this whole ordeal, including those who have contributed to the fundraiser and the many creators who were kind enough to join in on the fundraiser stream. That was super cool. And once again, huge shout out to my lawyer, Deborah Drews, and her firm, Drews Legal. She genuinely saved the day. If you have any legal troubles in the vein of this case, her firm may be interested down the line, so hit them up. Okay, that's it. We're done. Done talking about Ethan Klein. See you in the next video. Bye.
Wow. No, you shouldn't be done talking about Ethan Klein. Now it's time for victory.